today. First item today.
Anthony.
Birthday is today.
Alright, guys. Today is my birthday. Well, it was my birthday. Because I was supposed to make this video on January 13th, 2025. But due to my laziness, I just couldn't get it out. At least I made the intro on that day. So, I'm officially 24 years old. It's the same number as Jeff Gordon's car from NASCAR. But either way, so to celebrate my birthday, or should I say my late birthday, and to celebrate my 2,000 subscriber special, I'm late for it, I know, but I'm still gonna do it anyway because you know what they say, better late than ever. So today's what if that I actually wrote a script on is known as today's what if on my channel is called What If Sonic Ended Shadow's Life in Sonic Movie 3. Now this idea is not mine. The idea is by a YouTuber named Gabriel the Lumbax. So I am copying his story, but add my own twist to it. So Gabriel the Lumbax, if you're watching this, I'm sorry for copying your story, but I just want to add my own stuff in there. So it was basically my own adaptation of the story. So Gabriel, once again, I'm sorry for taking your idea, but I just needed something to celebrate my 2,000 subscriber special, and I need to boost subscribers. So I'll give credit to the original, to your idea, so that way you won't be moody at me.
What?
But once again, I'm sorry, but I'll give credit to you for the original idea. Shout out to Gabriel the Lumbax for the inspiration for my next What If video. So even though I was thinking about scrapping my What If videos because they're like repetitive, but then I was like, but after watching his video, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make a quick What If video, just so I can let that slide. So once again, shout out to Gabriel the Lumbax for the original idea. So once again, it's my own adaptation or my own version of his story. So yeah, that's it. So anyway, before we get started, this What If video will contain spoilers for Sonic Movie 3. If I were you, I would turn off this video, go watch Sonic Movie 3, and then come back and continue watching the video. So, or if you don't want to see this movie in theaters, and if you rather watch the movie when it comes out on digital, on Paramount Plus or wherever, you can do that too. Either one doesn't matter. So anyway, no, I must advise you guys. So everything I'm gonna say in the What If, is gonna be my own opinion. So I kindly ask you all to respect that. And we have our own opinions on different things, and yeah, we all know. So if you want to know my opinions on Sonic Movie 3, so I'm gonna tell you all right now that I don't want any of you to be like, hey Anthony, you spoiled the movie. But I'm just telling you all, I'm just telling you to turn off the video and go watch Sonic Movie 3, either in theaters or on digital. It doesn't matter. And then after you watch the movie, come back to watch this video so you can understand the different scenarios and stuff. So anyway, now that we got it all covered, and I'm like 5 minutes into the video, let's get started with the What If. And by the way, I written the whole What If scenario into a script, so that way I won't misremember, because I write it down on my phone. So, without any further delay, let's get started with this what if.
Oh, here we go again.
A little update. So, I'm still working on a little surprise skit at the end of the what if. So I forgot to mention this. I used screenshots from Sonic Movie 3 so you guys can imagine what's going on, even though most bits are the same as the actual movie, but different type of scenarios based on some of my idea and Gabriel the Lumbax's idea. So once again, I'm not stealing his original story. I'm just using it for my own version, like my own adaptation of the story. So once again, Gabriel, I'm sorry, but I need to do it just for inspiration. So if you don't like anyone stealing your idea, that's okay. So shout outs to you, by the way, even though I said it in the intro. But either way, so the skit that I worked on, the skit that I'm going to work on was something that I thought of after, when I was nearly done writing the what if story. I was like, hey, you know what? What if I do a little skit at the end of the what if? I think it will be pretty fun to make. So I did, and I gotta be honest, I had a lot more fun doing the skit than writing the what if itself. So, yeah. So stay tuned for the skit. The timestamp is for the intro and the what if. So the skit is somewhere in the what if. Well, it's after the what if, but the skit comes after that. So I hope you guys enjoy the little skit that I made. I had a lot of fun doing it. So yeah, guys, without any further ado, let's get on with the what if. For real this time. The entirety of the movie is the same until Shadow sees Commander Walters, who was being disguised by Tom. He teleports to Walters, but instead of punching him, knocking him out, he beats him up in more ways than one. Remember that scene from that movie called Nobody? And you might remember that bus fight scene from that movie. Think of the scenario something like that, except there's no violence. Shadow managed to kill Commander Walters until the disguise device deactivates, revealing Tom's face. Yeah, I kind of forgot what it was called. Remind me in the comments. That makes Shadow confused. Sonic calls out for Tom until he noticed Shadow next to Tom's body and tries to get Tom up. But Tom wasn't budging, and that triggered part of Shadow's past, where Shadow tried to get Maria up, but with no prevail. Sonic looks at Shadow with a furious look on his face.
What did you do?
Shadow looks at the key to the Eclipse cannon, and before he teleports, he replies to Sonic's question.
What I had to.
As we all know,
Team Dark's mission at Gun Headquarters was successful. They had obtained the key with the sole purpose of raising the Eclipse cannon into outer space. Earth's annihilation was at hand. All was seemingly lost at this point.
Team Sonic had suffered a terrible loss. Their father figure and close friend, Tom Wachowski, passed away when the medics put him into the ambulance. Sonic heard the heart rate flatlined from inside of the ambulance. Shadow's attack seemed to have fatal consequences. Sonic took this loss the hardest and demanded that Knuckles tell him where the Master Emerald was located. Knuckles refused, remembering the fight they had in Sonic Movie 2, but Sonic didn't care about that. He wanted revenge. He wanted to make them suffer to make Shadow suffer. But instead of Knuckles giving trust to Sonic early, Knuckles said to Sonic, You leave me no choice, Hedgehog." He punches Sonic, knocking him a few feet back. Sonic, in a fit of rage, gets up and says, "You're going to regret that."
I don't want to fight you, but you're not giving me much choice.
Sonic and Knuckles have their third rematch, but Knuckles didn't want to cause destruction. Knuckles just wanted Sonic that the Master Emerald wasn't the chance to get revenge on Shadow. Eventually, Sonic overpowered Knuckles. Sonic pins him to the ground and says to him in the amount of anger that he has ever been before, "Knuckles, I'm going to say this one more time, and I am not going to say it again. Listen to me clearly and good. Where is the Master Emerald?" Knuckles didn't want to escalate tensions further. He had no choice but to trust Sonic in his decision, knowing that his friend would come to realize the mistake he was making, or so he hoped. Wade was playing skiing with the Master Emerald until Sonic came to him, took the Master Emerald, and became super like in the actual movie. As the Eclipse Cannon powers up, thanks to Shadow's chaos energy, Gerald notices something glowing hurtling towards them at incredible speed. They presume it to be a counterattack from Gun, but Evo looks at the quill give it to him by Sonic earlier in the film. As it turns golden yellow, he knows what this is. He knows that it's him. Sonic punches through the cannon at intense speed in his new super form, pulling Shadow out. They hurtle back to the earth with unbridled fury at one another. After crash landing, Shadow acquires his own super form, and as the two battle it out the entire globe, jumping around locations in a near split seconds, faster than the eye can see. Shadow taunts Sonic about his lack of friends to support, mentioning Tom in front of him, and calling him a faker in the process. Get the reference? Sonic loses it, and with a charged uppercut, punches Shadow all the way to the surface of the moon. Sonic avenged Shadow on the surface, finally having the upper hand on their fight. Shadow taunts him further, pushing him to do it, to end his suffering. With combining of Shadow's taunts and the weight of Tom's death pushes Sonic to make a split-second decision. Normally at this point, Sonic remembers what Tom said.
"You didn't let your pain change who you are. In here."
And decided not to kill Shadow. But this time, Sonic didn't even remember what Tom said earlier in the film. And the fact that Tom is actually dead, Sonic did the unthinkable. Splash! Sonic sent his fist through Shadow's chest and withdraws. Shadow looks at Sonic with a face of shock, surprise, and relief. He didn't think the Hedgehog would actually go through with it. Shadow turns his gaze to the stars, one shining brighter than the others. With his eyes slowly closing shut, he thinks of his one and only true companion and best friend in his life, Maria. Shadow remembers Maria's words.
"Wow. Look at all those stars. They're like diamonds."
His eyes closed and his body fall limp through the lunar surface below. Shadow is gone. Sonic thought his rage would have subsided, but the complete opposite happened. Why isn't it going away? He thought. This pain, this anger, this sadness. His question was answered as he looked at his hand, overwhelmingly amount of chaos energy. His stress has heightened, his heart rate and pulse quickening with each passing second. Sonic looks at the Eclipse Cannon as he says, "Why is this happening to me?" Sonic's sanity began to drain as he closes his eyes. At this point, at the peak of it all, unimaginable force took over him. He opens his eyes, revealing spirals in his eyes. The fun and carefree loving hedgehog side of him is gone. Only the evil side of him remains. Sonic was no longer the hedgehog that everybody knew. I'm done being a hero, Sonic snarls.
And to be continued.
Hey, wait a minute. That's the end? But what happens next? There's gotta be something else.
That's all what the story has in store.
Dang, I was really bracing myself on what happens next.
I know how you feel, Shadow, but this is only the beginning. I feel like the next part is going to be even darker. Can you imagine that new or half of Sonic hurting me and Knuckles? As if.
That voice impression of me is so bad. Well, at least it's better than my show. You're mocking me, aren't you? No, we're not. Shadow, look! Black Doom! Where?
Not funny!
If I can punch you through that wall, I will.
Then Tom and Maddie would be upset. But all jokes aside, having me not ending Shadow's life was the best decision I've ever made in my life. Because me and Shadow teamed up, destroyed several gun robots, and Tails, Knuckles, and Eggman managed to defeat Gerald, and preventing the cannon destroying Earth.
But it ultimately sliced the moon in half.
And Shadow pushed the Ark away from Earth as far as you could before it exploded.
And now that you mention it, Knuckles, does anyone know where Eggman is?
I don't know. He probably made another mech somewhere in Hawaii.
And you went very far in the race. And that's when Metal Sonic came across you. And Amy saved your life.
And I hope that pink hedgehog warrior will kiss him someday.
Don't rub it in, Knuckles. And please don't even make wedding jokes.
What is that smell? I smell... Hey guys, I just made cookies.
You made cookies, Amy?
Chocolate
I can't
cookies?
wait to have some.
Yay!
Time for dessert! Does anyone know where Tom and Maddie is?
They're spending a week at Station Square.
Station Square? No wonder why this place has been quiet lately.
So, what are you guys doing?
I was reading a story. A what-if scenario, for that matter.
That sounds like fun. Yeah, and I didn't expect that story to take a dark turn. And I would absolutely love to see what happens next.
If there's anything I have to complain about it, I have one complaint. Even though I taunted for him to do it beforehand. But I would have tricked him. I would have teleported before he even got the chance to do so.
That may be true, but it's a little fun story to tell. But Tails is right. It really did take a dark turn.
I agree. But Sonic, maybe later. I was wondering if we could make a continuation of that story.
Sure, why not? It would be a lot of fun.
I agree with Sonic.
It would be great to add the Super Emeralds in this story.
For Hyper Knuckles? That's up for me and Sonic to decide.
And hopefully the story won't become too dark for perspective. We want to make sure that it's really good. And spoilers to the next part of the story. None of my friends are going to die. Even though my evil counterpart completely lost his sanity.
Even if it's dark in a way, we could still make it work. I'm sure we can make it work.
I can't wait to see how much the second part will turn out.
Do you want to help us with the story, Shadow?
No thanks. You can surprise me after you're done.
Sounds good to me.